This is what they don't prepare you for, when every exit has a price. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. The room closed in before I found the handle. Every option on the border, burning candle at both ends. The stay was costly, leaving had its feet. The middle ground was occupied by someone else's need. I've mapped the exits twice, the logic doesn't land. Every route has consequences I don't fully understand. The dead if I stay silent, the dead if I speak loud. The cost of disappearing, the cost of staying proud. No safe exit, that's not pessimism, that's the math. When the situation corners you along a two-way path where both directions run through something that would change you, where the neutral option doesn't exist to rearrange you into someone safe. I've looked, I've checked the inventory. There's no door here that leads to a cleaning into the story. Every room I enter has another room beyond it, and every answer comes with questions I must confront. And no safe exit. Every door's a bet, every road leads somewhere I don't know yet. No safe exit, but I have to move. Standing still is also something I will lose. I take the risk that feels the most like me. No safe exit, but I choose to be free. I watch the careful ones stay careful past the deadline. The window that was open turned to a flat line. A possibility the safe choice has an expiry. The neutral ground gets claimed if you don't move the inquiry forward. Standing at the crossroads, reading all the signs, accumulate to cost an hours and then lost timelines. The paralysis of perfect information seeking has its own destruction, quiet, slow and creaking. I'd rather make the call and own the consequence than spend my life inside the perfect present tense of almost. I've met people who live in the almost permanently, who haunt the corridor the most safely. And the look inside their eyes is something that I recognize from my own worst mornings. Nothing is the thing they settled for. The zero risk decision that turned into the life unlived. That's my division. There is no exit without exposure, no growth without the risk of closure, no truth without the cost of saying, no life without the price of staying. Present in the actual living and the fractional uncertainty of being here and choosing anyway. So I pick the exit that aligns with who I'm building, not the one that minimizes cost, the one that's gilding the actual self I wanna be at the end of the accounting. When the sum of all the choices that I made comes mounting into the person in the mirror at the final tally, I wanna see someone who moved, who chose the alley over the locked room, who took the risk that felt most true, even when truth came attached to something hard to move through. No safe exit, yes, but not all costs are equal. Some costs return and compound growth, some costs are lethal to the self. I'm learning to distinguish which is which risk is transformation and which risk is the ditch that I fall into and don't come back. That part takes practice. Wisdom is the navigation of the hazards. No safe exit, but I move with eyes wide open now. No safe exit, but I know the where, the when, the how. I move, not because it was safe, because standing still was the most dangerous thing I could do. Every exit cost something. I chose the cause that got me forward. No safe exit, still I exit.
The TV was always on. Nobody was always home. I learned to read the room before I learned to read. Static was my lullaby, chaos was my soul. Was my soul.
Yeah. Yeah. I grew up in a house where the volume never settled, where the argument at breakfast put the morning to the metal, where love was loud and painful and then quiet for a week. And I learned to read the silences before I learned to speak. The television ran in static through the sleeping hours. I built the world inside the noise between the power cuts. The lights would flicker and the heat would sometimes leave. I learned to find the warmth in places you wouldn't believe. The neighbor's kitchen on a Thursday, library on a Friday. The school was the most stable building in my timeline. Four walls that showed up every day regardless of the weather. I held the institution tighter than a tether to anything resembling ground, because the ground at home was shifting every week, a different version of the zone. I learned to function in the fractures, thrive inside the break, and that's a skill nobody teaches. It's the one you have to make.
Raised on static.
Learn to find a frequency. Built the signal out of
everything that's broken in me. Raised on static. Chaos was the cradle.
Turn the noise to music on a second-hand table. Everything unstable.
Ain't me who I am. Raised on static.
That's my old ground. They ask me why I'm calm when everything goes sideways. I learned composure in the middle of the hallways at midnight, when the shouting reached its seasonal peak. When the child version of me learned the ceiling by its creak. I mapped the house by sound. I knew which step would wait, which door to close, which silence meant the morning would be safe. That hypervigilance, that trauma literature names was just Tuesday in the building where I ran my early games. And the beautiful and broken thing about that kind of raising is the radar that it builds, the constant environmental gauging. I feel a shift in rooms before the room announces it. I read the temperature with spaces, call it benefit of growing up in static. I became a translator of chaos in the pattern, noise into a nomenclature of signals. I can find the music in the fractured thing, because I spent my whole childhood learning what the fractures sing.
I don't romanticize the static. I know what it cost. I know the parts of me that formed inside the chaos and got lost. I'm still finding pieces in the corners of myself, books I couldn't read yet, left on dusty shelves. But I am also everything the static taught me to become, the one who hears the signal through the deafening and numb.
Now I build quiet like it's something I can own. I choose the stillness that I never got at home, not as escape, but as the opposite of what I knew. The radical act of sitting in a room that's calm and true. No static, just the hum of something chosen, something real. The life I'm building now is also part of how I heal, not by erasing where I came from or the noise that shaped my ears, but by adding silence to the spectrum after all these years. And when the chaos comes, because it always finds a way, I don't dissolve inside it the way I used to every day. I hold a frequency I built from all that early static. I find the signal in the storm, that part became automatic.
Raised on static.
Yes, but also raised on more, on the small quiet beauties that survive behind the door. The book, the song, the window, and the light through it at dawn. The proof that something soft in me held on and carried on.
The static taught me everything,
including how to need the quiet, including how to build it.
Raised on noise, living in the frequency.
I made myself.
That's the only station
I ever needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been down enough times that the falling stopped surprising me. What surprised me was that I kept getting up, not because it was easy, because the ground got familiar, and familiar is manageable. They said I had the look of someone who would make it clean, a straight trajectory, the kind you see in magazines. I had the early wins to feed the narrative they wanted, the origin story, the hunger, the determined and undaunted. Face that said I crossed the finish without losing much, but the math of my ambition always seemed to outrun luck. The first fall came in year 3, I thought it was the end. Didn't understand yet that the fall was how you been without breaking, that the impact teaches what the comfort never could, that the ground is information. I was too high up to see as good. I built back in a year, rebuilt the thing I lost, added what the falling taught and added up the cost. Then fell again, year 7, different shapes, same ground. And this time I was faster getting back up from the down, because the ground was less a stranger I had been before. And every time I fell, I learned exactly what the floor built for the fall, not built to stay down. I've hit the ground so many times, I've learned the sound. Built for the fall, but built to rise. Every time I hit the ground, I open different That's the gift, that's the biz. I'm not romanticizing failure, let me say that clear. Some falls left damage, I am still assessing year to year. Some impact cost me people and some cost me time that doesn't come back. And the grief of that is mine to carry. I won't dress it as a blessing in disguise. Some losses are just losses underneath the sunrise. And still, the pattern that I notice in my own decline is that I am less afraid each time I cross the line. Between the standing and the falling, the threshold seems to lower. Not because I've given up, because I've gotten slower to panic. Because the recovery routine is practice. Because I built my own emergency apparatus for the fall. The people I can call, the work I return to. Oh, the particular stubbornness that's proven hard to burn through. Oh, I am built for the fall. The way a boxer trains for impact. Taking the hit and staying present, that's the contract. Maybe I was built for this, not the success, but the refusal to accept permanent defeat. Maybe my particular design includes a low center of gravity that makes me harder to keep down than to knock down. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's more than enough. Maybe that's everything. Yeah, 12 and I can see the patterns from the distance. The peaks and falls are part of a consistent architecture of a life lived at the edge of what I'm capable of. And edge living means the fall is part of the math of being here at all. The ones who never fall are the ones who never stood near the wall of what was possible for them. I'd rather have the falling than the safety of the ground floor and the calling that never is the height. I want the view, even with the fall that comes from being somewhere new. And high, the fall from high is hard, but high is worth it. I've done the calculation, the ground floor life is worthless. To me, not to everyone, but to the version of me that needs the risk of falling to feel genuinely free. Built for the fall. It's not a consolation prize, it's the actual design. I finally recognize I'll fall again. I know that I'm not afraid of it the way I used to be. The ground and I have an understanding now. I go down, I get up. That's the whole story. Built for the fall. Built for the fall. Built for the rise. No rewind, no second draft, no alternate timeline where you made the other call. Just this, just what happened, just what you did with it after. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I stood at the fork and I chose without a map. No GPS for moments, no route to take it back. The door I walked through closed the second that I stepped, and every room beyond it was a consequence I kept. I didn't know at 20 what at 30 would be clear. That the casual decision carries weight across the years. The job I didn't take, the word I didn't say, the person I walked past on an ordinary day. There's no replay button on the living that we do. No highlight reel director cutting angles clean and true. Just the footage as it happened, raw and unedited. The version nobody polished, nobody credited. I carry every scene, I wish I'd gone another way. But regret without a lesson is just rent you always pay. So I study every choice like it's the last one I'll be given, because the life I have is the only one I'm living.
No replay life.
What's done is done. Can't rewind the rain or unset the sun.
No replay life.
The tape don't rewind. Oh, what you leave behind is what you leave behind. I play it forward, play it true.
No replay life.
One take,
one take,
yeah.
one you.
I've seen men freeze up, trying to perfect the moment, waiting for the stars to line up. Meanwhile, the opponent called time and took the field while they were still preparing. The unlived life is also a choice, just one nobody's wearing proudly. The safe decision, the comfortable delay, the dream you kept on layaway until it went away. I don't say this with judgment, I've been that man too, standing at the edge of the thing I knew I had to do, and choosing the familiar over the terrifying right. I know how comfortable the wrong direction feels at night, but morning has a clarity that darkness likes to hide. And the version version of yourself you left behind still cries for the chance you almost took, the leap you almost made. No replay, life means the bill eventually gets paid. Not in punishment, in understanding, in the cost of knowing what you gained and knowing what you lost. I'm not running from the choices that I made. I'm not drowning in the versions that decayed. I'm standing in the only life that's real, learning how to live with what I feel. What's done is done, but done ain't finished. What's gone is gone, but gone ain't diminished. Everything I am grew from the ground of every choice that brought me to this sound. The people who accept the tape as theirs to own are the ones who build the most from what they're shown. Not because the footage was particularly clean, but because they stopped resisting what the footage means. I made the call, I missed the call, I dropped the call mid-sentence. I stood too long in hallways waiting on permission that was never coming from the place I was requesting. Now I give myself the green light. No more second guessing, no replay. Life is not a curse, it's an instruction to treat the present moment like it's under construction right now, because it is. The choice is being made, not tomorrow, not in theory, in the light and in the shade of what is actually happening. The actual crossroad, I am standing at the fork again. I know the code. No replay, no return, no revision, no delete. Just a living, just a choosing, just the ground beneath my feet. One take. No replay life. That's all any of us ever got. No replay, no replay life. No alternate cut. Just this moment, no replay life. Just this choice, just this one life. Make it yours. I keep talking, not because I expect an answer, because the alternative is silence. And I'm not ready for that yet. I sent the work into the world and waited for the room to respond. The room was busy with its own particular bloom of noise, of content, of the endless forward scroll, where nothing lands and everything is swallowed whole. I've been here before, the artist in the corridor, before the door, the voice before the microphone gets warmer, before the error catches up with what you're saying. I tell myself that's what this is, the time and the delayed response, not absence, just a gap between the signal and the reception. That's the story, that's the single narrative that keeps me at the desk instead of walking. But sometimes in the quiet I can hear the fear still talking underneath the confidence. What if nobody hears? Not because the timing's off, but because the signal disappears into genuine indifference, into an air that doesn't bend. What if the voice goes out and simply doesn't come back in? Voice without echo, still I speak into the hollow of the weak. Voice without echo, still I stand, reaching to the void with an open hand. Maybe the echo's on its way, but I'll speak today and tomorrow and the day after that. I watch the lesser version of the thing I do get caught by the algorithm's tide. It isn't always quality that's bought by the attention economy. It's often the accessible, the familiar surface dressed as something better. And I'm not bitter, but I'm honest, this is hard to sit with. The knowing that the room may not be built for what I'm gifted in. The frequency I'm working on may be too specific, too uncompromising for the commercial and the prolific. middle. And I have a choice to make inside that, knowing I can sand the edges down until the signal's showing up in more rooms, or I can hold a frequency and trust that the right room exists, and finding it's a must. Even if the finding takes a decade or a silence, I've invested too much self to trade it for compliance. Voice without echo is not voice without value. The walls that don't respond today may still someday construe. The ones who spoke before the world was listening. We're just early, not wrong. The signal predates the receiver by years, sometimes by decades. The voice without echo is often the voice that built the echo for everyone who came after. Keep speaking. I'm choosing now to separate the echo from the work, the response from the reality, the applause from the earth that the work stands on, independent of the hearing. The intrinsic and the external, both are worth revering, but only one is mine to own completely and to keep. The other is a weather system, variable and deep. Beyond my influence, I can only make the thing and send it out and live without the guarantee it brings a response back. That's the artist's fundamental wager. The voice before the echo, the originator, not the follower of sound already validated. I'd rather speak in silence than arrive prefabricated. Voice without echo, that's not emptiness, that's trust. And the work, and the time, and the absolute must of saying what needs saying, even when the wall stays still. Voice without echo, speaking anyway, always will. I spoke today, nobody may have heard, but the sound was real, the truth was real, the voice was real, and echo is just proof that something was there before I was here first. The echo will come. We had room, unspoken but understood. You knew then, you chose anyway. That's the part I keep coming back to. You knew. We built this from nothing. You remember the nothing, the couch I slept on, the nights we had nothing coming. Not a dollar between us in the morning, not a soul outside this circle worth the warning. We were the circle, sealed and battle tested. Every secret that we carried double chested. Through the lean years, through the losses, through the fire, I vouched for you in rooms that didn't have to hire your name. I put my reputation on your character. I stood between you and the ones who came to scatter your foundation. I was wall before I was a person, and now I'm standing in the wreckage watching it worsen. Because the opportunity presented was too wide, and the loyalty code we lived by got left on the side of the road you took when the table finally tilted, and everything we built together got quietly dismantled. Broken loyalty code can't be rewritten. The trust we signed in blood has now been riven. Broken loyalty code, I taught you the rules. Now I'm standing in the ruins you used as tools. What we had wasn't paper, it was stone. Broken loyalty code, I'm standing here alone. I watch you change the story piece by piece, rearrange the founding myth so your role would increase, and mine would quietly shrink into the background noise. A supporting character in your origin story, just a voice that helped you get there, but that isn't in the credits. I watched you write the narrative and know that you knew better. I gave you everything I had in those beginning years, showed you all the things I learned, including all the fears that make a person vulnerable, and you filed those away for later use. I see the application of today in the way you speak about me to the rooms I'm not inside, in the carefully worded distance and the managed pride. I'm not angry anymore, the anger burned away. What's left is something colder, the clear eye story of the day. You chose to upgrade over everything we were and called it growth. I call it what it was. I keep looking for the moment it turned, the exact degree the tide shifted, the Tuesday when the loyalty code got lifted off the table like it wasn't worth the wait. I keep looking for a reason I can tolerate, but the truth is simpler than I want it to be. When the choice was you or us, you chose you. And I would have done the same if I'm honest, but I thought we were different. I thought we agreed that we were different from the ones who left. I'm done performing the grief in a way that centers you, done making your betrayal into something I get through heroically. That narrative serves your guilt more than my healing. I'm taking back the story, starting from the feeling that what was lost was real, was earned, was built with actual years. And grief for that is appropriate, not weakness, not just tears. The code is broken, that's a fact I now accept. Not with bitterness, but with the clarity of someone who has kept their own side of the contract to the last available line, and watch the other party cross a boundary by design. The friendship was real, the loss is real, both things are true. And the truest thing I know is I don't blame the whole of you, just the version of you that the opportunity revealed. The one that I was loyal to, that version's what I grieve. Broken loyalty code, I'm closing out the file, not with anger but with accuracy. It wasn't worth your while. I don't hate you, I just know you now in a way I didn't before. And that knowledge costs something that no apology returns. The code is broken, I'm keeping mine. I used to pray for this, specifically by name. Now I hold it and wonder why my hands feel so tight. I put the number on the vision board at 22. Circled it in red and told myself what I would do when I got there. How the morning would feel different, how the chest would finally open, and the worry would be distant memory, a thing to reference and not inhabit. I ran the years in straight lines, broke the old bad habit of thinking smaller, ceiling checking of the dim internal voice that said you won't. I drowned it out and made the noise of working, constant working, until the number came and stood beside me like a stranger with my name. The thing I wanted looked exactly as I drawn it, but holding it felt nothing like the decade that it wanted. Into the shape of a dream, the actual object is heavier than the image and more hollow at the object's core. The money sat there, in the morning still arrived. With all this ordinary weight, I had the gold, I still survived. The anxiety, the question, the fundamental ache that gold was supposed to answer. Turns out gold just makes the same old question heavier, louder, more defined. Gold turns heavy when it's all you got inside your mind. Gold turns heavy when the dream comes true, when everything you chased is sitting next to you. Gold turns heavy, the chest don't open wide, just a different kind of empty on the inside. I wanted this so long, I forgot to want the rest. Gold turns heavy, success is not the test. Yeah, the people change, or maybe I changed toward them. The circle that I had before the money Bordered them with expectation. Everyone became a variable in the calculation of my trust in the unbearable. Loneliness of wealth is that it makes the math so clear. You see exactly who was present before gold was here, and who arrived with the arrival of the number. And trying to distinguish them keeps you up through all the slumber hours, cataloging smiles for sincerity. The paranoia of possession, the clarity of knowing you're now someone worth pretending to adore. And that knowledge has a weight you didn't carry before. I miss the hunger, not the suffering, just the clean, uncomplicated motivation of the in-between. When the goal was far enough to still be something to become. Now I'm standing at the summit wondering where to run. The things I bought didn't buy what I wanted. The rooms I entered left me more haunted than the rooms I couldn't get into before. Sometimes the inside of the door is colder than the outside, and the gold just sits there, heavy, quiet, proving nothing to anyone, especially not to me. I'm learning how to carry it as tool and not identity. To let the gold be gold and not the sin of my serenity, or the source to make the peace with what it can't provide, and find the thing that fills the hollow that it left inside. The answer wasn't poverty, let me be precise. The lack of gold had its own weight and its own price, but the gold alone was never gonna be the landing. I needed to learn that the peace I'm seeking needs expanding beyond the account balance, into the actual living, into the daily choosing and the daily giving of attention to the people and the purposes that matter, not the number on the screen that leaves the spirit flatter than before. I'm rich in paper and rebuilding in soul. The gold turned heavy, now I'm learning to let go of the idea that arrival is a permanent address. Gold turns heavy, happiness is not a number, that's the test. I'm grateful, I wanna be clear about that. I'm also honest, the gold is heavy, and the work now is learning to carry it without letting it carry me. The hands were shaking, the mind was clear. That's the most dangerous combination. When you know exactly what you're doing and you do it anyway. Oh, yeah. The room went quiet like the world already knew. Every option on the table had a consequence to choose. I've been in corners before, but never one this tight, where every road out had a shadow, every left was right. My hands were cold, the kind of cold that settles in the bone, when the body knows the stakes before the mind is fully shown. The weight of what I'm holding isn't metal, it's the mass of everything that led me to the ending of this path. I didn't come here reckless, I came here calculated. Every bridge behind me burned, every exit confiscated. The warm thing in my hand was the only carb remaining, and the cold thing in my chest was the conscience still complaining quietly the way it does when it already lost the vote. Just a murmur in the background, just a tightness in the throat. I looked across the room and in the silence made the call, knowing that some choices can't be taken back at all. Cold hands, warm guns, moments here, everything converged to make this crystal clear. Cold hands, warm gun, no going back. Once the choice is made, there's no retracting the act. I always knew this road would end somewhere like that. Cold hands, warm gun, sealed with a fist. The backstory is long, but let me give you what you need. Years of being pressed to walls, until the walls agreed to press back. Into the corner became a launching pad. The desperation I was carrying was everything I had. I watched the people making rules from comfortable rooms, who never had to calculate the cost of their own moves, who never felt the math of choosing which risk to take when all available options have a price you cannot fake. The warm thing in my grip was borrowed from the life they built. The cold hands holding it were wrapped in purpose, wrapped in guilt, wrapped in the understanding that some systems only open when you bring the kind of argument that can't be softly spoken. And I knew that the minute I committed to the act, there would be a version of myself I never fully have back. Some choices leave a mark that auto washing can't remove. Cold hands, warm gun, I stepped into the groove. I'm not asking you to validate the call I made. I'm asking you to understand the price that had to be paid to get here, to this room, to this moment in the cold, where the warm thing in my hand is the only story told by people who had nothing left to lose, but everything, who took the dangerous choice because the safe one offered nothing. After the moment passed, the hands warmed up again. The conscience stopped its murmur, turned into a quiet pain that lives in a specific way the memory replays. In the 3 a.m. review of the most defining days, I don't regret the moment, I regret the road that led to a world so narrow that it cornered me instead of offering a door that didn't come with someone's cost. I grieve the version of the story where nothing had to be lost, but that story didn't exist in the room where I was standing. Cold hands, warm gun, that was the only landing available to someone who had flown as far as I had flown. You make the choice the situation gives you, then your own. Every aftermath, every consequence, every year. Cold hands, warm gun, that's what brought me here. The hands are warm now, the gun is cold. Everything reversed once the moment ended. That's how you know it was real. That's how you know it cost something. Warm hands hold everything else. Hold everything else. Nobody's home. That's what you tell yourself, but you were there, and you remember everything. The city goes to sleep, and then the real city wakes, a version of yourself that only midnight makes. I walked these streets when no one was a witness to the walk, had conversations with my conscience that I'd never talked about in daylight, too exposed, too unprotected. The night gives cover to the parts you keep rejecting. From the curated version of yourself you show the day, the no witness hours of where the actual choices lay. I made decisions in the dark I'd never sign in light, said things to empty rooms that would've started fights. In the morning, held positions that dissolved by noon, but in the witness-free hours they felt true, they felt immune to consequence. Because the dark feels like a separate space, with the rules that run the daylight haven't claimed their place. But the body keeps the legend of the no witness night. Every dark decision lives in you beyond the light. No witness night, just you and what you know, the things you did when there was nowhere left to go. No witness night, the dark don't make it clean. What happened in the shadow is as real as what they've seen. The night forgets nothing, it just waits. No witness night, the morning always comes with weight. I've seen the good man do the thing he'd never owned, in the fluorescent light of accountability shown. The no witness version of him lives in him as well. The party feeds at midnight that he'd never tell. His family at the breakfast table, passing down the butter. His principles are morning things, they tend to start to flutter. Past 11 when the darkness makes the edges soft. When the cost of being virtuous starts to feel too oft repeated. When the discipline that daylight makes so easy gets expensive in the hours when the conscience gets uneasy. I'm not here to judge, I've been that person too. The no witness night reveals the parts that daylight won't construe as part of you. The contradictions, the desires, the choices that you make beside the unattended fires. We are all the summer witness, and no witness nights combined. The integration is the work, the hardest work you'll find. What would you do if the dark stayed dark forever? If the morning guarantee was suddenly never? Would the choice be different with no dawn on the way? That's the question, and no witness night asks every day. And the answer tells you everything about the actual you. Not the public version, but the private truth. I'm building now a life where witness doesn't change the game. With a no witness version and the daylight version claim the same values. Where the 3 a.m. decision tree produces the same fruit as the afternoon in me. Not perfect, I'm not preaching from a place of having arrived. I'm describing where I'm headed, not the place I have survived from. The integration of the dark and light self into one consistent person walking toward the setting of the sun. The no witness night still come, the dark still has its questions. The midnight hours still surface all the unresolved suggestions of who I could become without the watching world to check me. But I'm choosing now to be the witness, choosing to protect me from the cost of living split between the night and day. The long-term damage of the double life's decay. No witness nights a part of me. I claim them, I don't hide, but I'm walking toward the light with the darkness still inside. You were always the witness, the only one that mattered. No dark is dark enough to hide you from yourself. That's the gift, that's the way. No witness night, but you were always there. No witness night. The dream didn't die clean, it burned. And I was close enough to feel it. The marks are still there. I stopped trying to hide them. Yeah. I built a version in my mind with so much detail, a specific office and a specific holy grail of the career, the way the morning would announce me. The city saying yes, the doubt no longer haunting. The lobby of the life I spent a decade drawing. Then the year it fell apart, the slow terrifying thawing of the certainty I built into a kind of temple. The structure that I trusted turning suddenly so simple to collapse, not with a single devastating blow, but piece by piece, the funding and the roster, then the slow withdrawal of the people who believed the version 2. So the room was just a dream and me and what fell through. I stood inside the architecture of the failure, tried to find the exit, but the exit was the sailor and the sea was everywhere. The ruin was the map, and the version that I planned for simply never came back. Burn marks on dreams, they never fully fade. The evidence of everything I almost made. Burn marks on dreams, they're part of me now, proof that I was burning for it. That's the vow, I don't erase the marks, I wear them on the skin. Burn marks on dreams, that's where I begin. The grief of a failed dream is specific in its texture, not like losing a person, more like losing a future that felt so solid in the hands and then became a smoke that has your face, that answers to your name but can't be held. I kept my hands out for a year, reaching for the shape of it. The outline still was clear in my memory, the feel of it, the specific weight of the thing I almost had. I stayed up late replaying the decisions, revising the intentions, running the alternate scenarios through the dimensions of what I should have done, as if the simulation could reverse the outcome, as if my concentration was the only variable, as if the burn was solely my construction and mine alone to earn. I've learned to be more generous with the man I was, not because he was right, but because he gave. Because there's a version of the story where the failure was the lesson, and the lesson was the gift that I keep opening. And I believe in most days, but some days the burn mark catches the light just right, and all I feel is the heat of what it was before it went. And I let myself feel that for exactly as long as it takes, then I move. The burn marks changed my architecture. In the end, showed me what a structure I was building couldn't bend without breaking. With the rigidity was danger, where I needed to become a slightly different stranger to myself. The failure renovated something that the success would never have reached. The stubborn parts of me that needed to be wrong before the right could enter. The burn cleared the ground for better light. I'm building now on land that's been through fire. The soil after burning is the most prolific prior to the next thing. That's not poetry, that's soil science. That's the actual truth beneath the surface of the silence of the grief. I'm not the dream that burned, I'm what survived it. I'm not the version that I lost, I'm what arrived at. Every burn mark, every lesson, every scar that earned its place. Burn marks on dreams, they're the map now on my face. I'm grateful for the fight. I don't say that easily, I say it from the other side. Oh, the dream that burned made room for the one I'm living. That's the truth. That's the burn mark I wear with both hands open.